if and when you need their help to make that change. So some people are going to resonate with the fact that you can make changes on the fly. Other people are going to love the fact that you have a team here that's dedicated to making sure that your website gets the changes that you need in a very fast and efficient manner. SEO is a big part of the website offering that is behind the scenes. It's a very important part of this. It's mobile responsive. The storage websites are designed to look and work beautifully anywhere. And in terms of Google, Google puts a lot of onus on mobile websites, and that, again, that's a very big part of the website. So a lot of our work that's done behind the scenes with the SEO it's updated constantly to keep your site in line with modern web standards, so you can focus on your content of your site and not worrying about the code behind it. This is an ongoing effort, and it's going to be optimized, and it is optimized for viewing on desktops, mobile, and tablets. I'm going to show you, once we get into what the website looks like, the fact that you get a tracked phone line, and this is a really great feature. Every website includes a free track line that has incoming calls recorded. So you can see all of those or hear all of those calls recorded, among other functionality and widgets that we're going to go over when we look at the actual platform. So let's dive into that. Now, if you see at the top of my screen, I'm working on my one of our training websites here. So it says webinar.website.storage.com/admin. You don't need to focus on that URL. You're going to have your URL with an admin panel that you can log into for your specific site. Once you get in there, you'll see a status section, and the majority of the status for this training site has live. So these pages are live. They can be viewed by prospects and customers online, but we also have a draft, which means that this is not live. We're working on it, ready to push it when we want to, push it live. And then we also have live unpublished. So if we had a website that was live, green, and then we made a change, but for whatever reason we didn't want to have that change available to the world just yet, we can have the web page still running, everyone can see it, but our new changes aren't there yet. So there's options on if and when people see the changes that you want. There's a search option here. It's pretty easy to see the pages that I have for this site because there's only 7 pages. What if we had 15 pages? Maybe it'd be a little harder to see our contact us page, but I could search up here and type in contact us, and there's our contact us page very quickly. I can backspace that out, and now I'm seeing all of my sites or all of my pages again. There's a filter. You click on the filter option. If I just wanted to see my live pages, I click live and apply, and then there's my live pages. Or I could click filter and just see my drafts, or excuse me, just see my live and unpublished changes. Again, whatever you want to choose here, and the same thing with page types. So we can have our pages when we create them based on different types. When was it last updated? Do we want to view it live? And we'll do that in a moment. And then if we want to edit a respective page, we can click on that. So if we choose View Live here for what I would call my main page for this particular site, I click View Live. This is what the customer would see. This would be yourselfstoragesite.com. Going with this premise of the template, we can have whatever options we want on here, and I have specific options that I've put on this website, but it's not limited to these specific widgets. You can put what you want on here, and again, this is fully customizable. There's our tracked phone number at the top. There's the logo. Obviously, your logo would not be storable. It would be your company's logo if you wanted it there. We could go to different pages. So, for example, if I clicked on Pay Online, it's taking me to the Pay Online section. Click back, and now I'm back here to the main website. This is a nice widget where we could display different photos. As you see, the photos are changing. These would be your photos. They'd be uploaded to us when we set this up for you. Or I could click through it if I want these. Again, these are all different types of widgets, different items that can be displayed on your website. There's a Review Us option. We have two different types of reviews that you could have. You could have reviews that when someone makes a review, it would tie in directly to the Google API, and you would see your top 3 Google listings, Google reviews on your Google listing. Or you could have internal reviews, which I think this is a nice feature too, where you could have someone make a review and you ultimately decide whether or not you want that review to be posted. If for some reason someone gave you a 1-star review and they were just clearly being inappropriate with the review, you do not have to have that pushed to the website or to the internet. You have that ultimate choice. So again, depending on how you want the reviews to be shown, we handle both of those options. We could show our hours. A great feature here relating to your sizes, the prices. If someone wants to move in or reserve, maybe you don't want to allow move-ins for whatever reason, although I would strongly recommend it. We don't have to have that here if you don't want it to. With the sizes and the prices, it's very important to know that you do not have to put in labor, if you will, to make this shown. It's tying in directly with your software. So in other words, if you change your standard rate or your market rate for your 5x5s, that would change on the website. That would push through to your website, or how many units were left for this given size. So again, this is being taken directly from your software. So whatever you have in your software is going to be shown here. There's another section where we could show different pictures, and clearly this is demo wording, but you could have the pictures that you want displayed how you want if you chose to use this particular widget. About us, it would be your verbiage, what you want it to say. There's a nice size suggestion calculator that you can have added to your website. If someone said, if someone went here and they had a double bed and they had a couple of mirrors, among other options, it would say in this particular case, well, we believe you should be looking at a 5x5 and you'd be roughly 63% full with the choices that you made. You can have your discounts / promotions shown here, so they could be pushed from the software to the website. You can have directions. There's our reviews at the end. These are just some of the different widgets, some of the different options that are available that can be shown. If we go back to our interface here, and let's just say I wanted to make a change. If I click this edit button, click edit, and it brings up our web page. You'll notice when I'm highlighting different sections, they change color so you can see them. Maybe I want to change, I have awesome self-storage here and I want to put an exclamation mark. I just click on it and edit, and there's a fairly familiar, similar to Word, where I could bold, italicize. If I wanted to put an exclamation mark, I do that and I save. And right now, this is putting this as a live / unpublished page. It's not there to the internet yet, but if I wanted to, I click publish. and that's just sent it to the website. And that's a big deal. The fact that you can make that change as quick as that, and then push it to the internet as quick as that, where with some third-party companies or some website companies, to make any change like that, there could be a lot of red tape. There could be the process involved, a queue involved, where that could have taken days to make that happen. So I don't want to I don't want to make it that that's not a big deal. I think it's an extremely important aspect of this, that you have that ease of use to make that change either yourself or to contact us with the storage team to make that change. If I had not published it, it would have changed the status here. And then it's a similar premise for each of these pages, or any pages that you create. I'll highlight this pay online, and again, a customer can come in here to make that payment. But if I wanted to change verbiage, I wanted to change the way this looks, we can. So ultimately, with the template option, there is that ease of use, but you will have a unique website specific to how you want it to look and reflect with your customers. Any questions on any of that I went through? Does that make sense?
James, this is Kara. I think it's probably a good place to turn it over to Alex and see what we wanted to do with this piece, Alex, was just kind of show everybody this is the new tool. This is what our tool looks like, and kind of where things are being powered from. So it's a good back-end overview that I think probably only Alex and his team will be really digging into. But Alex, I wanted to turn it over to you too, to kind of give us some direction. Like, what are the questions that you and your managers have? I know you had some questions around integrations and how things are going to work. Where should we go from here to best use our time?
Yeah, I think that would be the best. All of our DMs and RMs are going to have access to the editing, and I think we're going to keep that to pretty much a minimum. A lot of that edits will be done in our Tucson office with Cheyenne and Catherine, but really that integration, how unit features, how we get unit features to properly display by setting them up in Sitelink, what we can and can't display, and then especially the markdowns and specials, coupons and specials is where we're really kind of struggling, is how do we get those to set up properly in Sitelink so we get a clean pull on the API.
Got it. Awesome. So Caitlin and Amir, I'm wondering, do one of you guys want to share your screen and we can kind of talk through some of those questions?
Yep. Amir, do you want to start off and then I can jump in on some of the specifics on the website?
Yeah, of course. So James, is it okay if you stop sharing your screen so I could go ahead and start sharing mine?
Absolutely. It should now be stopped.
Perfect. So Alex, so what I'll start doing now is I'll start sharing my screen, and I'll take you through how the integration will work based within Sitelink and storage. I'm sorry, Sitelink and the storage Voyager platform. Okay, so let me know once you're able to see my screen here.
All right, looks like you're up.
Perfect. So as you see here, as you'll begin to see a lot of us, depending on how many of us you speak, we all kind of have our own testing website. So this is mine. As you see, it's not probably as pretty as James is there, but it kind of gives you an inside look at how flexible you could actually make your websites to be. So as James was kind of going over, kind of like the more back-end side of things, the integration portion of it, right over here, you could have, I just have it listed here as Sitelink L16. That's our demo database that we work on. But at the same time, you could also just have it listed here as location, and there could be a drop-down list depending on state, and then kind of have it even filter even more for those sites within those states. So there's kind of a variety of what you can do and the options that you can have within the website. So very quickly here, I'll just click on Sitelink L016. And right now it's going to feed the information of what I have within that database. So as you see here, this is a different widget that I'm using here. It's a block widget, so I'll let you know the size of the unit. Here I am using our fairly released update back in October, the web rates. So as you see here is a cross out of what the rate is and this is the specific web rate that we have set up, what amenities the unit has, and then as you see here, the call to action for these units are just call, because there is no availability for these units. Any units that does have an availability, there's an option for a move-in and or reserve. So here real quickly, I'll just go through the reserve option. So if a customer were to come across your website through one of your sites, they want to go ahead and click on reserve here. It'll have the link out now to the website portion of the reservation portion of Sitelink. And then this is where the customer could fill in their details. Everything that is highlighted in an asterisk is what will be required. Everything that does not have an asterisk is optional. On the reservations portion of it, this is the only thing that can be marked as required. If the customer runs through and does the full online move-in, where they make a payment, process, electronically sign a lease and everything, that's where now on your end, on the Sitelink side of things, you can control what you want as optional and or required for the alternate and primary address or contacts. So here real quickly, I'll just put in first name. I'll put Mark. I don't know. I'm just making up a name here. Put in a phone here. Right down here, they could also write maybe some questions or comments that you as the operator will see. So if I were to click here on continue, it'll take me now to the payments portion of it. Okay, so put test.com. This is the reason why it's taking me to the payments portion of it is because I have set up on this demo database for a reservation fee to be attached to it. So here's a reservation fee. Here's a tax attached to the reservation fee. So this will be the total for it. So here, customer would just select their information. This is a dummy card, so there's no actual money tied into the back end of this. And then once me as a customer, I were to click here, confirm and reserve, I will get a final message letting me know that everything was confirmed, the size, and then the availability of up until when this reservation will be honored. On the operations side of things, as the owner operator, if I were to go to my inbox, I will see here an email. So the operator or the manager will receive an email of who reserved. And then also on the Sitelink side of things, if I were to just refresh the database, I'll be able to see here on the calendar bulletin board, here's a new storage reservation. So I could just easily double click on it and it'll let me know the customer information of who reserved. And then if I were to go to my lead to lease section, the same thing. Here is the customer that just reserved. This will go for reservations.
If I could cut in real quick on that.
Yes, of course. Of course.
When they complete the reservation, is it only sending the reservation email to the email address that we have in Sitelink for the location, or can we add additional email addresses like our district managers so they see the reservation as well?
So the email will go to this email address that is set up within the Sitelink system. James, correct me if I'm wrong, but if they were to put the semicolon and another email address, will that be sent out to both email addresses?
I believe it will, but we can verify right? That.
Okay.
Yeah. It's my understanding.
Or yeah, and that was my understanding as well. I just wanted to make sure if you had more knowledge in that. So yeah, so just to answer your question, Alex, if obviously if the characters will allow it, you could just so most likely if you have a person with a long name like myself, the character limitations may come in play. But as long as those email addresses can fit within this character limitation, you could add 1 or 2 email addresses.
Okay, and if we ran into a character limitation, is that something that you guys could work on? Because I know that that's kind of a priority for us, so that our district and regional managers also see those reservation emails as well as the store.
Yes, so we could, if that character limitation is something that you do run as a consistent problem, you could definitely let us know. We could put in a feature request, present it to our product development team, and we could run it through the process of what it will take to expand on that character limitations, and then if or when we could actually do that work. The reason why I say if is just because there are some times where a lot of the feature requests or custom requests just can't be made because this character limitation could actually be reflective on maybe on a report or some other indicator within Sitelink as to that will force a character limitation. So if I were to maybe just add a secondary email here, maybe on a specific report, it will cut off halfway through that email. But as I mentioned, that is something we could definitely present to our product and development team. They could work through it, and then they'll let us know whether yes, it can be done, or no, it can't be. It cannot be done.
Hey, Alex, tell me more about the business use case for that. So you're just wanting to be able to add like 3 to 4 different people, and then they would all be able to see the new reservations as they come in?
Yeah, we just want to make sure that if a district or if a store manager at the store level misses that reservation coming in, maybe they're off for the day, or it's a relief manager that's not really paying attention to their email and Sitelink, that our district managers and our team leads also see that. So we make sure we follow up with that person, or we have somebody scheduled for when they're planning to come into the store.
A possible solution might be, and Amir, keep me honest, but maybe Alex's team, they could do like a distribution list. That way you're only having to put one email address in that field, but it would actually go to the distribution list.
That is also a good idea, Kara. Also, another thing, Alex, that I suggest to a lot of our operators is, aside from keeping track of the calendar here, or keeping track of the managers keeping track of their emails, you could actually create a CRM event, maybe labeled as follow-up online reservations, or something that's tied into online reservations that will appear here on this reminders list, and it will update in real time as those reservations occur online. So for instance, you could easily create a CRM campaign scheduler here. I'm not sure if I have one that's tied into maybe online reservations. Yeah, I do not, but I could easily just create one. It's going to go online reservations. Have this set here as the trigger event as a reservation entered. Set this limitation to 0, and I'll backdate this starting date just so it won't catch any parameters. So by doing this, I'll hit OK here, save it. So by doing this, the manager will actually get reminded or kind of notified in 3 avenues. One avenue will be the calendar, second avenue will be the email, excuse me, and then the third avenue will be the reminder screen. So the reminder screen, as you see here, if your site is up to date, you have your managers doing their things, everything up to what it needs to be, this reminders list will probably be not even way less than what you see here. Probably maybe 4, maybe 5 at max options. So they could definitely keep on tap as online reservations. As you see here, this is the one that I just finished doing, Mark Gustav. So if it's up to date, days past trigger event 0. This is one that I did earlier today, and then these were a couple of days ago. So you could also create this CRM event for your managers to be notified in multiple avenues, where they don't have to be consistently checking their email or anything of that sort. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I think one of those solutions we can get to work at each of our locations, I think that'll be enough to cover us.
Yeah, and definitely what Kara mentioned, definitely creating that distribution group that includes that site manager, and then whatever other emails you would want to send it to will work great as well.
Perfect, thank you.
Yeah, and then as I had mentioned, the online move-ins pretty much fall into the same place as everything else. The only difference is the customer is electronically signing the contract online, but the manager will be notified in the same 3 avenues. You could create the calendar avenue will occur automatically, the email avenue as well, and then you could always create that CRM avenue as well. Were there any other questions that that you had, or just maybe something specific that something else more specific that you wanted to see?
On the unit sizes and prices widget, I think we'd really like to take a dive into making sure we understand how to set up things so that those features pull in. Because I'm noticing on a lot of our locations, like our U-Storts in Texas, our unit details only says storage instead of the actual unit details.
Mm-hmm.
And that we're also understanding how to set up those discounted rates for individual units, for unit groups. Just really taking a deep dive into the Sitelink side of thing on those.
Yeah. So as for instance, you in this demo database, I could grab this set of units here. I could click here on edit selections, and then these triggers on here is what will populate on that website. As you see here, this certain units are only labeled as inside, but I could definitely go ahead and click power, alarm, climate controlled. If I have a certain set of units that I don't want to be displayed online, I could also exclude them from the website. So those specific units won't be displayed online for any online rentals or reservations. So you do have the ability to do that. And also, as I mentioned, those amenities inside power, alarm, climate control can be controlled within Sitelink as well.
And that description box, does that pull as well into the unit sizes and prices widget?
Caitlin, I'm leaning towards a yes on this description. Am I correct leaning towards that way, Caitlin?
So currently, right now, description does not pull through.
Does not. Okay.
It's only going to show the unit type, so under specification. So whatever you have set up for the unit type, and then those amenities that Amir just went through will populate the description on the units table. As of now, it's not going to pull in description or any custom website attributes.
And is that something that's coming in the future for the custom attributes?
There's nothing on the roadmap yet, but it's something I've heard a little bit about, just to get a little bit more outside kind of the restrictions of just the unit type and just those 4 amenities. No timeline on that, but I'll double check with the team and get back to you as soon as I know more.
Okay, but the important stuff, inside or outside, climate controlled or not,
yep.
Are those checkboxes there?
Yes.
Yep, exactly.
Yes. And then, as I had mentioned earlier on this portion of the website, where you would want to display maybe this breakdown, this is where we released back in October on Sitelink. If I go here to modify units, I go here to batch edit web rates. As you see here, this is where I have lower web rates by standard rate by a fixed amount. So $5, I want my web rates to be lower. You could also do a percentage, or you could rate them by unit groups. So maybe I want to do 5% instead of $5. Or if I want to set specific ones for specific unit groups, you could also do that, and that will work with that Voyager integration. So it could display this cross out option that you see there. There's also the ability to work on your discount plans, as you had mentioned, for it to display on your website as well as discount plans for those specific either unit types or just units overall.
And as I don't deal with Sitelink and the pricing as much, did any of the managers have any more specific questions on how those display on the website and how to set those up in Sitelink?
I don't.
Okay.
Awesome.
And then we were looking at a couple of different ways to display that widget, whether it's the horizontal stripes or the squares. Do those all pull in exactly the same? So if we wanted to change between one look and feel to another look and feel, it should be, as we have it set up in Sitelink, it'll just be a visual change. We won't need to go back and change any settings in Sitelink to make that display cleanly.
That is correct. So as you see here, I logged into the back end, which is where James started off at. So if I were to go here to my site, where I have the units table displayed here, I could just go ahead and click here, add a section. Add a widget. So what I have right now is the units table 3, which is the blocks. I could just easily go ahead and just click and drag circles. As you see here in real time, it'll reflect that. As James mentioned, as long as I don't hit publish here, it's not going to be live. So I could make these changes over time, And then once I'm okay with it, once it looks good, then I could go ahead and click publish. And then at that point, it'll go live on the website. So this is the circles that we have. And then we also have just a standard one.
And I noticed on the blocks version, it showed little icons, kind of from the old platform was kind of that carry forward. But it looked like some of those icons weren't displaying, like climate controlled. It looks like on the first ones it's displaying some, but when we went down and saw another larger size that had climate controlled, it didn't look like it was showing the little icon. Is that something we need to manually do, or should that be based on those features and attributes? Like that 10 by 10 says climate control, but
this
no
one
icon.
Here?
Yeah.
Let's see here. Caitlin, would you happen to know?
That's going to pull through from the unit type is probably the climate control, and that's what's pulling through. The
type,
units,
okay.
that's the type. So then when we're looking at the amenities, if it's climate control, that's probably where the icon's pulling from.
Gotcha.
Okay, that makes sense because it does look like one says climate control and one just says climate.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, because the ones that say climate is just that one, and then so if I were to go here on Sitelink and look for this 10 by 10, it's probably just going to be that unit type that's labeled as climate control, but it's not actually labeled as climate. Let's see here. Yeah, so it'll be these units groups right here. So if I were to check these, edit, yeah, they're not labeled as climate control. So we go ahead and label this. Excuse me. Since I made this change here, these changes reflect at the top of the hour. Is that correct, Caitlin?
Yeah, that's correct.
Yeah. So I made these changes now. So here is not going to reflect immediately, but it will reflect via the API at the top of the hour. So it's 1:35 right now where I'm at. So once it's 2 p.m., it'll reflect here, and then you'll see it'll say I will need to fix my database, because if not, it'll say climate control, climate, which will definitely be confusing. And you kind of saw that. That's something that I didn't see. So I'll go ahead and make those changes on my end, so it could at least reflect a little bit more accurately from that side of things. But as you see here, you could definitely pick and choose your liking. We have those 3 available.
And I didn't want to move on to any other topics. If anybody else had any questions on unit sizes and prices before we moved on to anything else. Okay. And
I have a question.
Oh, go ahead.
I have a question on some of the units that was showing the number of available units. Is that selectable, or is that going to show or not show? It was on an earlier screen. I believe the other presenter was on her screen.
Yeah, I think it's in one of the standard units tables, say like 4 units remaining. Is that what you're referring to?
Correct.
Yeah, that is customizable. Those are within settings within the website itself. And that's an open field, so you can kind of set whatever you'd like that configuration to be. So less than 5, it will show the countdown, less than 10, whatever you would like that setting to show.
Okay, and then more than 10, it would not show.
Correct.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
And then I had some questions on the integration in terms of the address and the store hours. I know we had some issues with the store hours. Is that a change that's coming in Sitelink, and what are our limitations on that?
So the actual store hours, I believe is, from what I heard, it's not going to be this release, but it's going to be one of the earlier releases in the coming year, first quarter most likely, where it will break down. So if we go here to store information, you see here it just says weekday, start Saturday, Sunday. So we are going to break down this weekday to display Monday through Friday. So Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, all separately, including Saturday and Sunday. So this is definitely a breakdown that we've been working on, and you're not the first one of our customers that has asked for something like this. So that is definitely in the works. And then this breakdown will reflect on the Voyager's piece of it, on this Voyager portion of it, where it'll break down. And obviously if they have Monday to Friday, same hours, it will cluster them. If not, it'll break it down. In regards to these office hours or access hours, is there a way that they can make these changes on the order piece of things, Caitlin?
Those are coming directly from Sitelink, so we're pulling
Okay.
in like the address and the hours are coming directly from Sitelink. But if it's something that they want it broken out more, we can just use a different widget. I believe that Ashley's been working on that on her end. If there is specifications for that, to actually just kind of use a text box to be able to pull that in the meantime while Sitelink's working on the updates on their side. So we do have definitely some options around that if needed.
Perfect. Perfect. Does that clear up your answer a little bit better, Alex?
Yeah, and I know that
Awesome.
on some of those we have it manually as just an HTML box right now that Catherine worked with Ashley to get that plugged in like that.
Yep.
And then on the name, address, and phone number, it's the same thing. That is what the number we have in Sitelink will be our brick and mortar number, and that will display on the website. And then whatever we have as our brick and mortar number in Sitelink will then be the call tracking number forwards to it.
Yes. So this information that I just highlighted right now will feed from the Sitelink information here. So if I were to change this to, let's say, Sitelink, let's just remove the L016. I will go ahead and hit OK to save it. See here, I'm not sure it's going to reflect that immediately. Yeah, we would have to wait to the top of the error, but whatever it is reflected in that company information section is what we reflect here in this highlighted section. So if it's the brick and mortar address, or let's say your database on Sitelink, as you see here, it says Sitelink storable site L16. Maybe you want to change that, leave that within Sitelink end, but maybe for the website end you want to call it something else. Then here in the store information is where you would make that change.
And does that address, is that what populates the map as well, or are you guys manually setting up the map address? And then we've always had, in a few of our places, like in Texas, we've had some disconnects between what the post office says an address is and what Google Maps will say it is. So which one of those should we use when we have a difference between like freeway and a number, and then the colloquial name like Piestewa Peak or something like that the freeway is called?
The map should pick up from this latitude and longitude.
Okay.
Yeah, is that correct? Is that my correct understanding here, Caitlin?
Yes.
Okay. Yes.
Correct.
So,
Yep.
so whatever latitude and longitude is displayed here within Sitelink is what will be reflected on the website.
Okay, so if we have a pin that's slightly off, we can just go in and slightly correct the latitude and longitude.
That is correct.
Okay. And then the Google Map, that button, we need to type in the address, and that pulls in the address as Google Maps sees it.
So yeah, so if you click there on Google Map, it's just going to give you on the Sitelink setup piece where that address is. So see here, this is where we are here at Sitelink. So if we were to change this latitude and longitude, or if we were to just update the address, these would change. And then we click on Google Map, it'll pin it exactly where this latitude and longitude is at.
I see. Okay. So then in our store address line, and maybe this is a question we don't all have an answer to right now, should we be using what the post office sees the address is, or should we be using what Google Maps says for SEO value? Like that difference between something that's like highway and a number and then the name of the highway. We've run into that disconnect in a few places.
Yeah,
I can jump in
I'll
real quick.
I'll let Caitlin answer that one.
Yeah, for best practices, especially with our Google Maps team, we always want to make sure it matches Google, your Google My Business Google Maps listing. So sometimes if it doesn't, we'll ask you to correct it within Sitelink. So we always try to keep the Google Maps listing and your listing on the website with those same addresses. So if it's HWY, spell out highway, just to keep those consistent.
Got it. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I think that's all the questions on integration that I had on my list. I don't know if anybody else at Argus had anything that they had burning questions on to get answered today.
Okay.
I know we've already talked about this, but is there any way we can revisit the specific discount plan that's pulling over for promotion to this website?
Okay, so let me share my screen again. So you're wanting to see on the Sitelink end which discount this is set up on Sitelink?
Yes.
Okay. Yes. So here on the Sitelink system, under setup, we would go to discount plans. And then I have quite a few here, but as you see here, only the 10% off is displaying. And I have it set up here as everywhere. That's one thing you have to be cautious of. If it's set up to everywhere, currently right now, Voyager will still pick it up. So if you don't want this 10% to be picked up on the website, you would just have to select client, call center, kiosk, and Sparefoot, anything except website. So that's how I have, for instance, this 10 for 10% off. I have it set up for only client and MyHub, 13 and 14th month free, same thing. So that's just, for instance, this is a military 10% discount. That's one thing you just have to kind of go over and make sure your discount plans are set up correctly. If you truly want them everywhere, including online reservation, online promotion, then yes, you would just leave it as everywhere. Sitelink takes into consideration a few methods as to which discount is going to display online. So Sitelink is going to only display the best value discount plan over a 12-month period. That's the one that's going to take into effect to display online. So for instance, if there is this 10% off and this 7th month free. So 10% off would be a permanent discount. The 7th month free will only be 1 month. So Sitelink by default is going to display this 10% off on the website because it is a permanent discount plan that is the best value to the customer at that moment.
Thank you. That's all I needed.
Perfect. All right. So I'm trying to look here at the agenda. Kara, are you still on by any chance?
Yep. Sorry, I was on mute.
Okay. Oh no, that's fine.
If there are no other questions from everybody, I mean, we can wrap early unless there's anything that you guys, outside of integrations, other questions that you want to cover in the next 15 minutes, or anything, Caitlin and Amir, that you go, what would be really important for you guys to know? Anything else that we can cover? If not, we can give everybody 15 minutes of their life back.
Yeah, I think this is Caitlin, just something also to consider. I know, when we're talking about a lot about the integration stuff, and I know that, as we're, rolling out more, and you've definitely taken into consideration, you're looking at unit type and amenities. I know Ashley's been, working really close with you, Alex and Catherine. So, as we're, rolling these out, I know we're also taking a look to make sure everything is set up okay. So if there's anything, you want to call to our attention so we can get ahead of it a little bit before we start, more of those rollouts, definitely just let us know, but know that, not only you guys, that we also have eyeballs on it. With the integrations and settings, as we continue these rollouts as well.
Yeah, I think we covered most of the topics that we were kind of concerned with. And I think we need to go over some things internally and make sure that we have phone numbers and addresses displaying properly in Sitelink on our side. But I didn't have anything else specifically.
All right, cool. One more round. Anybody else have anything else? Speak now or forever hold your peace. All right. Well, great. Well, thank you for your time today. And like Caitlin said, if you have anything that comes up, don't hesitate to ask. That's what we're here for. And if you guys determine later on that we need another follow-up or anything, just let us know. We're always happy to do another training call as well.
Absolutely, yeah. And I think our accounting department had some questions on reporting. I'll just email those over since I don't think they would have been relevant to this session.
Okay, perfect. Well, then, all right, everybody. We appreciate it. Thanks for your time, and we will talk to you soon.
All right, thank you.
Bye-bye. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.